My name is Channa. I'm the CEO of Rabot. A bit about what Rabot does. We are essentially a visibility platform for operations teams. Why does this matter? Imagine if you were a general manager of a warehouse or an operations person in a warehouse. What are the things that you struggle with? You always wonder, have I packed that order right? Has it gone out the door? Because one of the key metrics that really matter for folks is it on time and in full? So what I'm going to be talking about today is how can we involve these operations teams and build a warehouse of the future where we can involve robotics. Real quick, a bit of a background about myself. I have been in the logistics space for over 10 years, have been building machine vision solutions for them, all the way from CPG manufacturing companies all the way to cold storage. And one of the key learnings that I've got out of this is what I'm about to get into. So key aspect of this is going to be you need to get off your seat and you need to actually go on the floor and understand what's happening. If you don't understand what's happening in your fulfillment operations, you can't truly see how automation can even impact them. So first is you need to go see it, then you need to ask why. Why am I doing it this way? And how does this even impact my operations? This will gain respect from your teams on the floor, and I can guarantee you that from personal experience as well. Now, a bit about fulfillment operations today is they're very complex, they're very manual. And what I mean by very manual is they have a lot of SKUs, and then fulfillment operations require value-added services such as, am I placing the object in the right place? Am I adding the dunnage in the right area? There's so many things that matter that makes it still super manual and hard to automate. Now, another component is volumes. It's really hard to track what the volumes are going to be like throughout the year. As you can tell, during COVID, there was a huge spike. Now, look at where we are today. It is interesting, and we are always learning on how do we navigate these volumes. And the final component, how do these fulfillment centers differentiate themselves from the big guys? And that is by the open box experience. Why does this matter? How do brands differentiate themselves from the big guys? And that is by really touching the end consumer. What I mean by this is before we used to go to a retail store, actually touch these objects, feel that, and that's the connection you have with the brand. And how do fulfillment centers give that back is by creating such an experience. A thank you note saying from the company saying, hey, thanks for shopping with us. Here's a coupon. All of those things really matter. What I'm trying to get at is e-commerce fulfillment is pretty darn complex. So what does the future look like? It's still good. It's actually great. There are different systems that you can use to solve these problems. When you talk about picking, there's goods to person, person to goods systems that are out there, from ASRS systems to AMRs that are out there. Great friends, Locus, Six River, those guys are there on the floor. You can check them out. Pretty awesome solutions. Then there's the picking solutions that are out there. You can see many from Mujin to Right Hand. There's a lot of them out there doing really good work. But I said fulfillment centers are complex. Now, how do you really make all of these things work together? And now, so once you understand all of these things, it's about, these kind of systems are pretty expensive. They're a huge investment. Now, then you also know there's product mix change, the SKUs are all over the place. How do you get an automation system that's going to work for you? It's going to be very complex. Next thing is workforce training. It's really hard to hold on to labor in warehouses today. How do you train them to actually use these systems? It's very difficult. And then the additional miscellaneous cost of downtime, maintenance, and all of these unknown things. If you really think about robotics or a lot of these technologies, they're not that old. I would say 5 to 10 years. Conveyors and those sorts have been there for 40 plus years, many, many years. So understanding what's the lifetime of these products itself is not really known today. So now tying all of this together, how do you make all of this work? Involve everyone. It's very critical to involve folks that are actually using the systems on the floor that don't really have a decision in any of these things, but you really need to understand what's going on. The second thing is you need to know your metrics. What are the volumes that you have going through? What's the mix that you have? Does that system truly work for the SKUs that I have in my warehouse? you need to really understand that. Once you have understood those, you need to prioritize your solutions. Is this the one that I'm going to work with this year? And then once you have prioritized that, you can actively affect those kind of solutions. Final thing, this is the most critical, proof of value over proof of concept is very important. Coming from being a startup and working in the logistics space, I can tell you it's not good for either of the parties. Because the reality is if you don't truly have a proof of value to the product that you're about to deliver to your customers, you're just going to be wasting each other's time. So it's very critical to first identify what is the value that this product is going to bring, not just today, over the coming years, to really make a good decision on what you need to go with. Know thyself, know thy enemy, 1,000 battles and 1,000 victories. I like to say it's the same analogy in the e-commerce space. You need to know yourself, you need to know the technology that you're going to be using, and then you'll be able to deliver 1 million packages, and it'll be delivered perfectly. Well, that's pretty much the gist of what I have to say today. If you guys want to know a bit more about what we do, we are essentially a simple machine vision system that operations teams can use to truly accelerate their growth and set them up for a successful robotics future. That's us in a nutshell, and if you want to drop by our booth, we do have a live demo and see what we do, and we are happy to talk more about how to prepare you guys for a robotics future. Thank you.